But okie dokie, we managed to clear through down to layer 4, so we probably are at least interested in starting on one of our S branches. Probably not Spider. I'd like to get poison resistance if at all possible. One option before we go into S is that we could instead head out to regular dungeon. We haven't even seen our D13, so maybe it's fantastic out there this time of year. So actually, let's go that route for now. We could even, if we're lucky, run into a single yak out there. So nothing too dangerous, but would get us an arbalist. One can dream, one can hope here. English has pursued other languages down alleyways to beat them unconscious and rifle their pockets for new vocabulary. Very true. I love that. Oh, geez Louise. Oh, hey, Sonia. How's it kicking? Short sword of distortion. Hate that. Are you fast? You are fast. You son of a gun. And if you hit us with Curari, we're in a bit of a nasty spot. Oh, or you hit yourself with Curari. Get absolutely wrecked, dum-dum. Stop hitting yourself. Oh my gosh, you did it again. Oh, it just feels kind of bad at that point. Was that bullying? Is that allowed? Oh, it feels slightly terrible, but I'll take it. And it's piety according to Wiktionary. That's piety, right? I'm a little bit forgetful on my... Is that even IPA? I'm trying to think of what the small capital I is. Pi... A? Maybe? Man, I need to refresh myself on IPA. I used to be really good with it because I love the idea of phonetical spelling, but here we are. Hey Railbird, how's it going? Hope you've been well. Hope your elementalists have been seeing success in the dungeon, of course. Oh, hello my centaur friends. Beautiful. So lots of centaurs, still no yak with an arbalist, but there's still hope. There's still time in the world. Oh dang it, I was hoping that the people guarding the gate would in fact be a yak and pals, but hey, that's fine, not the end of the world. 5 enchant weapon scrolls should come in handy for the future here. Does get into a bit of an interesting debate of like, do we wish to use any enchant weapon scrolls or do we save them all for the slim chance that we get a triple crossbow at some point during the run? And I'm tempted to wait, but I think I will enchant up an arbalist if we find it. In a 15 rune run, we're eventually, you know, theoretically going to get an infinite number of enchant weapon scrolls. And you may say, hey, look, it's that yak, or that, oh, was I calling them yak? What was I calling them? Yaktar. There's the Yaktar I've been looking for, but unfortunately, that one had no weapons, so I believe it was just a shapeshifter. Getting my hopes up just to dash them against the rocks, you son of a gun. That protection from fire we'll leave alone for now, seeing as we have one on us at least. It's easy for you because Rune Finnish basically corresponds to pronunciation IPA, right? And see, those are the languages that I like, because it's the same, like Spanish is very phonetical language. Everything is pronounced exactly as you see it. It's so nice. You know, you have 5 vowels and you have 5 vowel sounds. Perfect. But English, I think English has 5 vowels and it has like 26 or 27 different vowel sounds that can show up in any given word. So that's fun. Again, just an absolute nightmare. Whoever came up with it needs a bit of a talking to, if you ask me. But okie doke, for the time being, we're going to leave this freaky center zone alone, because I've definitely run into some pretty nasty situations by trying to explore those in the past, and instead we'll just come back when we're feeling a little bit rougher, a little bit tougher, and see how it goes then. For the time being, we'll just continue downwards here. Oh, apparently we're very much continuing downwards. Hello, Shaft. I can probably take a boulder beetle. Famous last words. Oh gosh. Very much famous last words. Curari at least. And then... oh, there we go. Beautiful. Like I said, no problems whatsoever. Full confidence. Full send. Oh me, oh my. Railbirdie streak 2 15 rune games in the current release of 0.29.1 for the first time. That's good news. Hey, nice. Bad news is that the streak ended earlier this morning. Well, hey, that's all good. Streaks always have to end at some point. Congrats on the 2, though. That's awesome. Finish those 9 vowels and 8 vowel sounds. How? How does that work? Do you have a vowel that's only ever used in conjunction with another one, so it doesn't actually have a bespoke sound of its own? But definitely, yeah, for a phonetic language that makes sense. It's generally going to be pretty one-to-one with any and all sounds. And what did I leave behind here? Oh, right. Hello, my friend. Well, should be able to fight you. We fought many a two-headed ogre in our orc days. One of the vowels is sus. That's the only explanation, really. I think you're onto something there. Oh, fun. Boulder beetle as well as some new ogre buddies. Why, hello there. If I could just bring the magi upstairs, that seems wonderful. In fact, I'll probably just fight my way in this nice little corner here. That seems wonderful. Beautiful. One of the vowels is A with the little circle accent on it, which is inexactly angstrom and is pronounced the same way as O. Oh, it's pronounced the same way as another. Of course, that makes sense. That makes way more sense than a fully silent vowel that is always silent and never makes a noise, but hey, my brain generally doesn't hop to the most sensible thing first. That would make life too easy, you know? Instead, I have to drive myself up the wall by coming up with all sorts of fun and farcical explanations for even the simplest thing. Hello, my bouldery friend. Get some quick curari on that son of a gun and swap back. Beautiful. Hang on, that was made entirely of straight lines. For all intents and purposes, finished as 8 vowels, but having history being under the Armed Forces of Sweden, they snuck that accent today into your alphabet. You saw angstrom. Actually, wait, because I would say angstrom. But oh, wait, the A accented A is the same as non-accented O. So is it angstrom? I forget the umlaut. But yeah, you saw a. English people also famously terrible at general pronunciation. Actually, I shouldn't say English-speaking people. I should say North American English speakers, because a lot of people who grew up in the UK are actually really good with dialects, because there's such a wide variety of very pronounced, very distinct dialects throughout the country. I find personally, and most Canadians and most Americans I know, absolute garbage at dialects. You know, occasionally you find someone from North America who's good at accents in general, but very rarely is it a true understanding of dialects, and specifically how speech works. I find a lot of people from the UK, when they talk about dialects and when they talk about language, they speak like a linguist. You know, they're all about yeah, it's, you know, the tongue in the back of the throat, the jaw dropping. They have all the understanding of the mechanical aspects of speech and how it influences your dialect, and that's why they're generally a little bit more comfortable with placing different speech patterns. Of course, it's not a be-all end-all rule or anything like that, but definitely a common thing that I've noticed with the years. Okay, let's definitely get our rocky friend here a little bit poisoned. Fantastic. And we do get our first arbalist here finally after far too long. So that is wonderful. This trident can actually probably hit the dirt for now. Don't need to worry about that. But we have lots of brand weapon scrolls, and we're probably turning our triple crossbow into just holy anyway, so let's brand the arbalist right away. Fire's not bad, and you have decent skill on that. We can also immediately turn on ranged weapons, and let's get that trained up to 18 while we're at it. Wonderful. Do I use my enchant weapon scrolls? I think I do. Again, I'm gonna look like an idiot, especially if I just immediately come across a triple crossbow for whatever reason, but that will be a nice little boost for us in the short term here, so I'm very much happy to see it. Staff of Fire can actually probably hit the dirt for now. We have enough coverage for the base resistances, Fire and Cold, so we shouldn't have to worry about that anytime soon. Oh, that's a fun little vault. Muffin Soup's ghost. Hello, Muffin Soup. Doesn't sound that appetizing to me, but pretty efficient eating. I mean, if you just throw everything you eat into a blender, then you can probably suck that stuff down pretty dang quickly. But unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, most of us don't eat from pure convenience. There's a bit of pleasure there as well, of course. But, am I ready for Swamp? I might head down to Layer 5 first, take a peek down and see how things are looking, what we have to deal with. If it's manageable, then we can just head this way. We can see there the first tangible, besides when we fought Grinder, I guess, the first tangible, seeing the advantage, can't parse the sentence in my head, but the first instance of us seeing the full advantage of the Formicid here, as we, don't get slowed by our lovely little snail companion there, so that is wonderful. We also can pretty securely do fun little shenanigans here, knowing that even if we got fully surrounded coming up the stairs, we can just dig into walls, so we can always get away, which is wonderful. Yes, Chef, thank you, Chef. The Finnish alphabet is called Ruotsalinen O, which translates to a Swedish O. It needs quite a lengthy name to tell apart from the regular O, as their pronunciation is the same. Fair enough. Well, let's just phone a friend here, play it a little bit safer as we start to take slightly more damage than I'm comfortable with. And then while we have the divine assistance, I think we'll just hop right into things. Oh, if I get put to sleep... Deva, what are you doing? Watch my back, you son of a gun. Should be able to kill most of the Dream Sheep, and then I at least can't be put to sleep here. And then I just need to kill you. And we are off the hook. Beautiful. You're doing just fine. I appreciate you and all of your assistance, my Deva friend. I'm sorry for the smack talk, you know. Just trying to keep you motivated, keep your get your head in the game. You gotta get your head in the game, my friend. Oh geez. Okay, that's a lot of new and exciting friendships to be formed here. Hello, my elephant pals. Well, we know they never forget, so let's do our best to murder them in the here and now, I guess. That's not the moral of the story, I don't think, but I'll take it. It is what it is. And okay, glad I still have the angel assistance here as we start to immediately see quite the selection of new and exciting companions. Why, hello all. Jeez Louise. Well, not too shabby so far. We'll keep on the back foot here as much as possible, just to make sure we're staying safe out there, kiddos. So anyway, I just started blasting, I guess. Hydra's fire keeps them from growing new heads, right? That is correct. Yeah, any bladed weapon is at risk of giving them new heads unless it is a flaming branded weapon, and then it successfully seals the wounds behind it, and you don't have to worry about the extra heads. And in fact, that's generally the best way to deal with them, because then not only are they not growing new heads, but on top of that, you're also removing an instance, a 1d18 of damage, as it were. So that's always wonderful. Thanks for the hydrate. I definitely kind of been neglecting my drink here today. I've been too chatty. Which is weird, because normally I'm chatty when my brain is in like high functioning mode. Today I feel like it's the opposite, quite the opposite. I feel like I'm more of a rambling kind of narration going on here, but it is what it is. W is another one which needs a lengthy name. Kexsois. I want to say Kexwa, but that's just the French in me. But translates as double V, similar in Finnish. There's no different sounds for V and W. And I find that funny because in English we say W. Pretty much every other language that I've learned, at least, not that that's very many, but every other language that I've learned calls it double V, which makes sense because it's, looking at it, it looks like a double V. And yet, English just had to be the special one. The odd ones out there had to make ourselves seem more interesting by calling it a different name that just made less sense. Oh, English. And so you want to stay away from blades generally? For sure. Yeah, if they're small enough. Things like daggers definitely are short enough that they don't cause severing of heads. I always forget which blades are allowed and which ones aren't. I think short blades do cut off. But yeah, generally you want to swap over to some kind of flail, some kind of spear, whatever you have at your disposal in order to get through those sons of guns. Oh, do you want... I didn't realize I have 2 Phantom Mirrors. What do I with pleasure? That's a nice little addition of evocables, specifically rechargeable evocables, to our selection here, so that's wonderful. We'll say UU. It kind of makes a W sound. Especially if you woo it. No, in general, language is just weird across the board, really, at the end of the day. I mean, anytime you break something down to its like base constituents, you know, the fact that we're just making random senseless noises that we decided as a collective means something to us, makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Not at all a bit of an odd circumstance in general. But I do love it. It's pretty weird for when you were learning the English alphabet. You had to do a bit of a paradigm shift there, swap away from the double V's to the double U's, of course. No, fine. I will not fire in my ally angel direction. Thank you, game. Definitely would hate to ruin this brilliant friendship that we've garnered over the short minutes, the short seconds we've spent together. Oh, goodbye, my friend. Forever. Do you think we get the same angel every time we ask for help, or do you think it's a completely new and exciting bond to make, new friends to put to work across the dungeon here? I guess who really knows the truth of the matter. But regardless, with that cleared, I think we'll head over to Swamp and start thinking about this direction. We're on pretty good pace here, at least compared to my standard, which makes sense. I was expecting a ranged user to go pretty quickly, again, seeing as how we can just rampage our way through the majority of the dungeon. Dungeon. Read the word angel as I was trying to say dungeon. Around the dungeon with no real worries whatsoever. Archangel Dirk, exactly. Got Castiel over here just chilling. I want to say Tyrael because I've been playing through Diablo 2 again with some of my siblings. Huge blast from the past. But I just got to the first in-game meeting with Tyrael. So it's definitely what's on my mind. They're just off to help some other battle ant. But there's no battle ant quite like us. At least that's what I like to imagine. Right, TSO, you wouldn't be unfaithful to me after all the faith I've shown you in our relationship, right? That doesn't seem like something you would do. Okay, that's gonna, yeah, as expected, cause quite the commotion here. At the very least, our friend is a step away, so we can pretty safely just make our way back to the stairs, rest up real quick, and let's swap over to, not take off our shield, but rather put on cold resistance. The funny thing you noticed is that E is II, and I is AI, in alphabet forming fun circle, begin with E, which begins with I, which begins with an A. My confusion over the parsing of that sentence is a good representation as to just how confusing the language is, for sure. At least I think we're talking about English there, which, again, to reiterate, makes no sense in any way, shape, or form. Perfect. But okie doke, so let's start trying some more fighting. Now that ranged is at 18, I'll probably swap over to the Arbalist full time here. And do it, sure, let's learn a bit more dodging while we're at it. Why the heck not? So with this son of a gun, oh, we're at 1.1. So that means our shield, I believe, is causing some minor issues for us. So let's train a little bit more on the shield side of things. Still not the end of the world to be attacking slightly slower, because the trade-off in just how much damage output we should have should be worthwhile, all things considered. Beautiful, as we will hopefully just be able to one or two shot the majority of enemies that we come across in the next while. Ooh, a mighted bunyip is actually a huge problem though. Focus down that son of a gun. Okay, the might didn't last too long, so not the end of the world. Beautiful. Ooh, okay, only slightly terrifying. But as long as we hit these sons of guns, we pretty much are guaranteed to murder them right off the rips. That's beautiful. I'm in the same boat, Lost Zone. Rain was more broken than it already was. Oh, you have reflect. Oh, jeez. Now I feel sorry for all these enemies. I do hurt a lot. Ouchie. I am my own worst enemy. I am tagged in this photo and I do not like it. But okie dokie, let's continue making our way through this apparently Spriggan stronghold that's just sitting in the middle of Swamp 1. Not exactly ideal. Wait a second. So I'm guessing, I don't think these are diggable. They're not. Do we only have... we only have 2 downstairs. So we are able to make our way up into that zone if we so desire in the future. Ooh, I'm really hoping I don't get sucked in by the... Oops, let's try that again. By the swamp worm here. Less than ideal is a bit of an understatement. Let's just go with one more blast just to make sure we take out all these sons of guns. Beautiful. Ooh. And Will-o'-the-Wisp. I was actually ready for that to be an absolute nightmare, but we managed to make it through. Like we say alphabet in English, you pronounce the letter A as A sound, which starts with the letter E, which in turn pronounces I. I see. So it's, yeah, comparing the pronunciation to kind of the Finnish phonetical layout of the same words. Very interesting. But yeah, that's the fun. In English, it just never really makes any sense. Okay, let's kill Torinski as fast as possible. Okay, that was exceptionally fast, actually. Holy moly. Then we get a bunch of friendly humans running about the level. Go Gadget Deva. Great job. Holy moly. So we took out some pretty rough enemies there, actually. Very happy with that. And killing the Dryad gets us access to a wand. There we go. I was trying to get out of sight range of the alarm trap before it went off, and we just barely managed to do so, so that is fantastic. Not that it would have been the end of the world. In fact, triggering an alarm trap while I have my friendly Archangel beside me, kind of awesome at the end of the day. But this is where you can see the ridiculousness of, yeah, as long as TSO keeps blessing us with extra angel time, this son of a gun can hang around forever. And just long enough to get in on the Francis action, and there's the message that I'm talking about. So once again, blesses them with even more time in the world, so it looks like maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to finish off this entire floor with our friend by our side, which is just a lovely sentiment at the end of the day here. Love to see it. Also, no more enemies, so sorry, it was kind of a waste of time. I hope you enjoyed our chats, though. Just a bit of a road trip with your Archangel buds. Ooh, and a bunch of ghouls. Okay, let's definitely take you upstairs, and in fact, I'll probably try to redirect to another stairwell temporarily here, just so we're not completely and totally surrounded by the ghouls. Dang it, I almost feel bad fighting them because I kind of want to save the pious piety for the future here. The one saving grace there is Crypt. Crypt is a beautiful spot for all your TSO worshipping needs. You basically leave it as a final bastion of piety, and you just keep heading back there at any given time where you need an extra little pick-me-up to your piety score here. Oh geez, bit of confusion action there, definitely causing some troubles for us, but not the end of the world. And yeah, there we go. That's what the Arbalest is all about, when you can just mulch your way through even these relatively strong enemies. Holy moly. And just not a care in the world, until things start to get a little bit rougher here for sure. In fact, let's drown them in holy fire. And once more with feeling. Beautiful. I need to check how heavy that armor is. I feel like that might be our best bet for getting some poison resistance on this character. Maybe our final hope here. So we'll take a quick peek at the Swamp Dragon scale, shall we? Encumbrance rating of 7? That's not too bad, actually. So we'll lose our regen, but that's probably worth it in the long run here. Let's swap over. Attack delay of 1.1. Okay, still not perfect. It's not saying it's slowed by armor or shields, which is throwing me off. I feel like we've managed to find a weird threshold in the game where it's not quite registering it as being attributed to one of those, because it's like a 0.05 or something like that that's the issue. 7-7 is a pretty good ratio. It is. Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of all of the dragon scales. I find that they're one of the best go-tos. I think the last ranger character I played was an offline one, and I used fire dragon scales for pretty much my like endgame armor, and it went pretty fantastically. Pronouns are also quite confusing and still are somewhat. Why is I always capitalized? Why there's so many singular third-person pronouns, but singular and plural second-person have to share a pronoun? Oh yeah, you can't try to make sense of any of it at the end of the day. It's definitely a weird one. I'm personally a big fan of a lot of the Romance languages and the fact that they have pronouns just as optional because of conjugation. You know, having very distinct conjugation in all your verbs means that you don't really have any need to oh geez, okay, let's try to kill you quickly here and then just take a step back real quick. Jeez Louise. Stop that. But yeah, it's just convenient to me to be able to drop off the pronouns and just use the verbal conjugation in order to sort out what somebody is intending to go with. I should be able to kill you, my friend, though maybe I shouldn't have risked it. Slightly sketchy, but hey, we managed to make it through here. I don't know if this is like Learny Vault. I haven't been paying attention to the messages to see if we're hearing a rampaging 27-headed Hydra, but I wouldn't mind. We have a Phantom Mirror, so we do have the one-stop shop for murdering a Lyran and Hydra available to us. Always fantastic. And not too shabby here. We definitely feel vindicated for swapping over to the Swamp Dragon scales with all the poison that we're seeing here. Works out quite nicely for us. No longer worrying about all the confusion coming in from these sons of guns as well. It's kind of funny where Swamp Drakes normally not too sketchy whatsoever. On a ranged character though, confusion very much sucks. Almost no shot of you accidentally firing off bolts in random directions and hitting the intended target. Not to say it doesn't happen, because I've definitely had had to resort to it in the past, and especially when you're surrounded, not a big deal, I guess. Just fire. No matter which direction you pick, things are going to work out for you in the long run. And there we go. We get our first rune of the game. Wonder how long into the game are we here? Hour and 40 minutes. Not too bad whatsoever. I feel like normally it's a few hours before I get my first rune under the belt here, but wonderful. And we'll just blitz our way through the rest of the floor here. At least I hope we manage to do just that. And not too shabby. Oh, it is such a wonderful life when you do first swap over to the Arbalest and start murdering everything. To great success here. And, oh, I didn't actually mean to just hop down. Whoopsie daisies. Let's head up with our first couple of friends here. And actually think this through a little bit before we continue forward. To take a look at what we've gotten. I don't think this ring is going to be much use for us. Dex minus and See Invisible are terrible and useless respectively. Don't really need the others whatsoever, so that's going to be thrown aside at some point here. Swamp Dragon Scales is going to be our go-to for all of Spider here, just to have that poison resistance. Right, never did make the final decision on requirement here either. Now I just have a bunch of money. Don't really need the money, don't really need anything on there. Maybe I'll just carry this around for bragging rights for the moment here. Also, why I am not can't be written as, or can be written as I'm not, or I am'd, but not I'm-d. I amped. That I don't recognize. I don't think I've ever used that conjunction before. But yeah, no, again, trying to find sense where there just absolutely is none. Not even the slightest amount. Oh, geez Louise. Oh, first time against a Ghost Moth that we don't have to be panicky. See, there are advantages to not being a blaster caster at the end of the day here. I mean, additionally, having the ability to see invisible helps out a great deal in that regard. Ooh, okay. I was ready for Radroach to completely ruin my day. Never mind.